Hey gang, today we are going to do Peter Green's amazing version of Freddie King's Someday After a While You'll Be Sorry. Now, Peter Green played it with John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers, and so many others have played it. Clapton, Bonamassa's version, if you listen to it, he sticks a lot to Peter Green, but then just essentially plays a flurry of notes. I call me maybe old-fashioned, but I totally prefer Peter Green's version of it. A lot more feeling in it and so forth. And that's what we're going to cover. Believe me, Peter Green is not just playing the blues scale on this one. He's hitting some really key notes over an interesting progression. So I want to cover the notes themselves, and I'll cover the progression and some of the other things that you can do with it as well. All right, that's coming up. Hey, as always, if you like this, click the like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe for one of these every week. See you in just a second. All right, gang, let's do this. First things first, you can download the tab from the link in the description below. It's going to make your life a little bit easier. Second, let's talk about the structure a little bit about what we're going to cover. First, I want to cover the chords, and then I'll cover sort of note for note, as close as I can get it, to what Peter Green did, or certainly what I did on that solo. So we'll cover the solo exactly, and kind of giving you ideas about how you can squeeze more out of the notes and why certain notes are chosen. At least that's the way I think. And then I want to, at the end of it, give you some ideas for, hey, look, as good and as beautiful as what Peter Green played, you want to be able to play yourself, right? So what are some other ideas that you can do to find your own licks and phrases on this opening? All right, so that's kind of how we're going to structure it. So let's start with the chords. Chords are pretty straightforward, but they are interesting. Okay, so we're going to start with an F, and any of these you can substitute in the dominant or the seventh chord or the ninth chord, whatever you want, right? So we're going to start with an F. Then it goes to a D7. All right, to a G. To a C7, and then it's the standard 1-4-5 turnaround. F to the 4 chord, B flat, back to the F to the C7, and then the song begins. So the interesting chords there, I think, are the D7 and the G7, right? So normally, in most songs, or in many songs, many popular songs, you would have the F. If you're playing in the key of F, you drop down to a D minor. But here it goes to a D dominant 7. So we want to take into account that D7 is a real key chord, and we want to take that into account as we're playing. And Peter Green certainly did, in a very obvious but very dramatic way. Okay, so now that we've got the chords down, let's talk about what are the note choices here, or what are the solo itself. So as we start out, there's a pickup. There's 3 pickup notes, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, and it's picking up on the 3. Okay, so we play 3 pickup notes and we start with that F chord. So let's play the first phrase. Here we go. All right, so that's the first phrase. Okay, and it's over the F chord ending in the D7. Okay, so let's start with that. So it's a 1, 2, 3. Here's the F. Here's the D7. All right. So very simple phrase, but very powerful phrase. The 3 pickup notes, we're going to start up here in the 13th position. Second string, we're going to play 13, 15, and 13 on the first string, and then end up with the 15 on the first string bent up a whole step, like so. And what we're really doing is that's over that F chord, we're bending up to the 3rd of F. Okay? For those of you who know, a major triad is a 1, 3, and a 5. We're bending up to the 3rd. All right. Then we're going to hit that again and bring it down and pull off to the 13th and end up on the 15th on the 2nd string. And give that lots of vibrato, okay? So that's the key to that one. Now, we're ending on the beginning of the 2nd chord, which is a D7, and that happens to be, right there, the 2nd string, 15th fret, happens to be a D. So we're simply playing over that D7 chord very deliberately. We're playing the note D. It's that simple. You don't have to be thinking blues scale, although the blues scale certainly works. It works, but hitting this note right here is not in that minor pentatonic. And so when you hit it, everybody really notices it. And that's what he's doing. He hits that note and stays on it for the D. Like I said, obvious, but it's a brilliant choice. When in doubt, just play that one note of the chord, milk it. All right. So, second phrase is this. Okay, that's over the G7 and over the C7. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to slide up on the 3rd string to the 14th fret and give that a little vibrato, and then we want to play this phrase. And that's just a straight F minor pentatonic coming down, okay? And so what we're doing is we're playing 2nd string 13, 3rd string 15 and 13. And you want, on that 13, you want to tweak it just a little bit toward the 14th fret, okay? That's playing around with that minor and major, very common in the blues. I don't know if it's as pronounced in this particular solo, but Robin Ford, and I think that's mostly where I got it. Robin Ford really emphasizes that sort of thing. It feels like high-stepping to me. Anyway, however it feels to you, tweak that a little bit. And then we're playing 15 on the 4th and 15 on the 5th, and giving that 15th on the 5th some vibrato. Standard line, okay? Leading to the F, when we're playing over that C7 chord, we simply play this. Okay. Again, standard ending there. There's nothing amazing about it, but it just is really, it's really exactly right for the song. So what we're playing here is we're playing 13 to 15 3 times. I like to pick it the first time. I think that's what I heard on the record. And then this 2nd and 3rd time I'm hammering on from the 13th and 15th. So it's 3 times. And then what we're doing is we're sliding up from below. I do it from the 11th. We're sliding up to the 12th. This is all on a 5th string. And then on a 4th string we play the 15th, getting back to that F chord, which that note happens to be an F. Okay, so that's it. So let's go over that whole opening now. Let's play the whole thing slowly. Here we go. Here's the whole opening. Okay, now we're ready for that turnaround, right? Which is we're going to the B, then back to the F, then to the C7 at the end. So it starts with this line. All right, that's probably the most complicated line in the song, and it's definitely very cool. He plays it very freely, which is how you should try to get it. This is really just a straight forward blues lick in F using F minor pentatonic with one exception, and that's the note at the end, okay? So we're starting out with a rake. So we're going to rake the strings 4, 3, and 2 and end up playing that first note on the first string on the 13th. Okay, so just kind of bar across on the 13th, and you want to not let those sound on the 3, 4, and 5 on the 4, 3, and 2 strings. You want to try and not let them sound too much, and you want to just end up playing that first note. Okay, so we're going to start with that first note up here on the 13th, first string, and then come down like so. So that's just on the first string 13, second string 16, second string 13, and third string 15. Now this sequence is played right here. Okay, so we're going to start out with a little bend. So that's just simply bending on the 15th up, basically a whole step. And you want to do that quickly, and you'll bring it back to the 15th and pull off to the 13th. Okay, so do it really quickly. You don't want to do this. You want to do this. If you can pre-bend it, even better. Okay, so as soon as we get to that, let me just play that really slowly, otherwise we're going to get mixed up with 15ths, 13ths, and all that kind of stuff, and which note. So I'll just play it as close as I can to this, and play it slowly. One more time. Now, the other thing in the articulation is, if you listen to the record, and you can do this either way, you can let that end note linger, or you can cut it off. On the record, Peter Green cuts it off, so he plays it more like this, instead of... So you be the judge, both are cool. Ending that lick is simply playing, we're going to play on the 13, hammer to the 14, on the third string, and then play on the second string, the 13, come down to all the way to the 5th string, and play the 15th on that, giving it lots of vibrato. All right, here's the last part. All right, here's that last piece played pretty slowly. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about coming up with your own variations and how that works. One of the things I like to do is simply change position. So that was Peter Green's solo was all played up here in the 13th position. And for most of us, I think that's a great place to start, or an easy place to start, because we're working on that root on the 6th string, right, of that F. It's in the key of F, and again, most of us who were raised on rock and roll or the blues probably are used to thinking about playing that F minor pentatonic or the F blues scale, right? Or what have you, something like that. So just getting us out of that position is often helping us get out of a rut or find something new. So let's try that. So what happens if we wanted to go from this position to, say, I don't know, maybe this position? Now, why did I choose that? Well, the same sort of thinking goes with hey, the root is on the 6th, on that F. Let me just find another F chord. So here's another one right here, where the root is on the 5th string, 9th fret, right? I'm sorry, 8th fret. Geez, 9th fret. 8th fret. Okay, that's an F chord right there. And maybe I can start out by finding all of the triads, so all the major triads, or major or minor triads, whoops, that are around here. So for example, here's an F. Let me find a D. Here's a D right here. Here's another D. That's pretty close, actually. If I'm just playing those 4, 3, and 2 strings, that's really close. Okay, now I need to find a G. Here's a G. Now a C. Okay, and now I'm back to my F, B flat, F, C7. All right, so everything's right there. So if I want to, for example, focus on some of the original notes, right? We went up to the third of F, if you remember, on the very beginning. So here's the third of F right here. So what if we did something that was around that? That might sound good, right? So, I'm just trying to play around with the notes of the chords that I'm trying to get to. So I'll play 3 pickup nines, or 3 pickup notes, and bend to that third. Now I'm going to come down to play the third of D, which is right here. Here's my D chord. I'm going to try and bend to it. I like bending to notes and chords. That sounds good to me anyway. So I might try that. Over the... Sounds good. And then I might even bend to that next G. Etc. And then I'm trying to get to that C. Or I could rely back on the blues scale at some point, right? Instead of going to the G, I could go back to an F blues scale. Like... Anyway, I find just moving into a different position gives me lots of other ideas. And if I can find all the chords in that position, and I just do simple triads, If I do major or minor triads, they're all major here or 7th sounding chords, then that gives me a lot of ideas. If I wanted to move it to down here, for example, here's another F. Here's my D, D7, I need a G. How about this one? There's a C, and now here's F, B flat, C, oops, I'm sorry, F and C. So again, this is going to give me another idea maybe in this position, etc. It's really, I don't want to say it's simple, but looking for the chords and then trying to play some of those notes of the chords I think is very helpful. And I think, at least partly, or maybe it's totally inadvertently, Peter Green's doing that and he's hearing the music in his head and he's hearing that D chord really strongly, and so he's hearing that D note really ring true, and that's why he chose it. All right, gang, there you go. Best I can do with this rendition. I hope I did it credit. Definitely one of my favorite openings. I just think it's beautiful the way he plays this one. I hope you do too, and I hope you can do this now and enjoy it as much as I do. All right, until next time, we'll see you on down the road.